Hello and welcome to my series on how to open up a trucking company in the US. I promise you that by the end of this series, I myself would have taken your hand and helped you through the entire process on how to open up a trucking company in the US. So you are either an entrepreneur, a company driver, or an owner-operator, and you're constantly thinking about opening up your own authorities or having your own small fleet for yourself. So let's talk a little bit about the driver and the owner operator. So you find yourself in a situation where you are a company driver, you'd like to become an owner operator, or you're an owner operator and you kind of have reached your plateau, right? So what else can you do once you are an owner operator? Well, you can have your own authorities and your own MC and your own small fleet. But how are you going to do that? Well, I've just done it. So how do I know that you guys out there want to open up your own trucking companies? Because I talked to hundreds and hundreds of drivers. There are currently 18,000 truck drivers a part of my database. And the constant conversations we have is, Ronan, how do I open up my own trucking company? Ronan, how do I start my small fleet? Well, I did it, and guess what? I did not have my Class 1 license, and until today, I've been running ET Transport for about 17 years now, and I still don't have my Class 1 license. For you entrepreneurs out there, yes, it's possible. You just need to be guided in the right direction. But the company drivers and owner operators, yes, you have a competitive advantage because you are in it and you know what it's like to be a driver. I didn't have this. I have a big vision and I really want to have a large fleet in the US this time next year. Now let's talk about startup costs. How much is it going to cost me to set all this up and how long is it going to take? You're going to get an actual breakdown with every cost associated with opening up a trucking company in the US. You're going to get the numbers and then you're going to decide whether you'd like to proceed in opening up that trucking company, or you might want to pause and stop and say, you know what, it's just not worth it. So the first thing you're going to need is your LLC. Now, depending on the state or province that you are in, so if you're in Canada, you're going to need a corporation. If you're in the US, it's an LLC. That's going to run you about $150. Now, the next thing you're going to need is your operating authorities, your MC, your DOT. That's going to run you $300. The next thing you're going to need is your BOC3, and that's going to run you approximately $30. Now, the next thing you're going to need is your insurance for these trucks. That's going to cost you approximately $2,500 per month per truck. So we'll put that number down, $2,500. So in order to run these trucks, you're going to need plates, and these plates you're going to have to pay for the entire year, and that's going to cost you around $1,900. The next thing you're going to need is IFTA stickers, and these stickers are going to run you at $10 a piece. As you can see, some of the trucks like to have multiple stickers on them. I hate when drivers do this. 2024, 2019, 2020, 2021, 2022. The next thing you're going to need is a UCR, a Unified Carrier Registration, and that's going to cost you $41 for your first truck. You will also need a 2290 tax filing, which is about $120. The next thing you're going to need is to put stickers on your truck. So that's going to run you approximately $100. So most of the trucks come with it, but you're going to need a fire extinguisher, and that's going to cost you approximately $100. Now, all of our trucks have a first aid kit in them. All right, you're going to need your ELDs, and your ELDs are going to cost you about $50 per month, depending on who you choose. Your drug training program is going to cost you $300. And then you need your supervisor training. It's a one-time thing. You're going to need to pay approximately $50 to get your supervisor program. And now the last thing that you're going to need in your truck is a truck binder. Now this is a whole nother video. I'll link it down below. If you'd like a guide on what you need inside your permit book, you will get a violation for not having this inside your truck. And last but not least, you're probably going to need some seals, okay, on an ongoing basis. So the grand total is $5,651. Okay, if you tally up all the things that we mentioned today in our video, it's going to run you $5,651 in order to start your trucking company. So there's going to be a link with every single one of these line items and how you can get it in a step-by-step guide on how to open the trucking company. So whatever I'm referencing in this video is going to be linked below. Now guys, if you do need my guidance and support, you're more than welcome to join our mentorship program, and it's called the Mentee. This will give you weekly meetings with me where you can ask me any questions that you have. There's already a lot of members a part of that program. You can also hear their questions. Now, our weekly live sessions are extremely interesting, and they go in detail on how to open up your trucking company in the US. So for those that are interested, please join us. So now that we know how much it costs to put it together, let's talk about insurance and insurance brokers. We're going to talk about the Canadian side. We're going to talk about the US side. We're also going to be exposing the insurance brokers on their tactics, their manipulating tactics, and what they do to small fleet owners and owner operators. So make sure you're watching till the end, so when it comes time for you to get insurance, you'll know exactly what to do. So here's my story. It all started last year when I opened up a trucking company in the US. I needed an insurance for my fleet. So I have something called the rule of three. Whenever I need something, either in the office, financing, insurance, I always ask for 3 quotes. So I approached 3 separate brokers to get 3 different insurance quotes. Now, when it comes to insurance, all the more reason why you have to use 3, because what I noticed is that some insurance brokers in the US have personal relationships with underwriters, and you really need that personal relationship to get you that, to the finish line, to get you that binding insurance and to get you the terms that you want. So make sure you're using that rule of 3 and asking 3 brokers out there. So in my first round of when I was receiving quotes, I had anywhere between approximately $34,000 per truck per year in the US and as low as $24,000 per truck per year in the US. Now, it's very important to watch out for certain tactics that they use. Like number 1, some brokers will try to push you to insure more trucks. The more the insurance premium is, whether it's in Canada or in the US, the same rule applies. The more premium it is, the more commission the broker makes. So if you've made it this far in the video, I think it would be a good idea for you to check out my course on how to open up a trucking company in the US. I have a feeling you're going to greatly benefit from it. The second thing that they try to do is they try to ask you for exclusivity. So when you're binding for insurance or when you're looking for insurance, broker will say to you, I really hope I'm the only one working on this. We're all going to the same markets. I mean, for me, it's a load of crap. You have your markets, they might have their markets. And if they tapped on one of the markets, then you can't approach it anymore. Approach different markets. The last thing that I want to say is, you really need to watch out for the fine print, because the cheapest rate is not always the best insurance. And I'll give you one example. The ranges of $34,000 to $24,000 came in round 1. I did a round 2 and a round 3. And honestly, I got my insurance as low as $18,000 per year per truck. But again, the prices came in all over the place. But the example is, that one insurance company might have a clause for recovery and towing at around, a maximum of $30,000 or $40,000, where a second insurance company doesn't have a limit or will have, $100,000 as a limit. Now, as an owner operator, or if you're binding 1 or 2 trucks, or you're an entrepreneur, you might not know that the average cost of a rollover or a tow could be $50,000, $60,000, or $70,000. So what happens if you're actually in the situation is you might come out of pocket, and the insurance company will only have up to $30,000 or $25,000, which we had in the cheapest quote. You really have to look at the fine print and why is one insurance company coming in below the other. Now, I've created a list of brokers that I use, and I'll link it down below. So it's 2 Canadian brokers and 4 US brokers. Now, honestly, I talked to a lot more than 4, and I've interviewed a lot of them, and I've called on their references to ask who they work for. So it's really an approved list by me, and these are the best people that I found in the US for me, right? What I've seen over the years, I'll quickly go over some of the fraudulent activity that these brokers do, both in Canada and the US. In Canada, because I'm located here, I see it a lot. In the US, I just hear about them through my consultations. But premium diversion is actually a thing where a broker collects money and does not pass it along to the insurance company. Falsified claims. There's a ton of stuff I've heard and seen where a broker will open up a false claim on the insurance company and collects the money. Fronting, which is where brokers might manipulate policies, details to make an ineligible client appear eligible. So this happens a lot. Fake policies, insurance brokers issuing actually fake policies, taking the premiums to themselves. So you really, really want to try to avoid this. And if you think that there isn't fraudulent activity within the insurance and the insurance brokers, there's a lot of fraud. So you got to be careful from it. Another big thing you need to watch out for is kickbacks. So sometimes insurance brokers, they get a kickback from from the insurance company. Nobody knows how much. I mean, yes, there is the commission, but there's also a lot of kickbacks that happen within this industry, so you really want to watch out for that. So a lot of people ask me, Ronan, where would you start? If you could take back time, or if you can go back to the beginning, where would you start and how would you start? And this is my honest opinion to anybody out there that's thinking of getting into our industry. So number one, I would invest a little bit into my education, into the industry. I would definitely do a dispatch course, okay? We have a course out there, but I just want to warn a lot of you guys out there. There's a lot of people that offer dispatch courses that are very theoretical, but they have absolutely no idea. They don't run their own fleet. They don't have a fleet of 20 or 30 or 40 power units. A lot of their stuff is outdated and comes from 10, 15 years ago. You want to take a course that is more modern. As things go online, you really need to understand with B-roll, with visuals, what is a logbook, what is a bill of lading, hours of service, weight configurations. There's so much stuff to learn, and just if somebody's just talking like this, you're not going to understand what it is. But if somebody puts the B-roll on what is the bill of lading, what is hours of service in a logbook, what is axle configurations, then you would understand it a lot more. As you're waiting for your MC and as you're waiting for your authorities to come in, for those of you that are taking this step, there's a lot of stuff that you can do, like take a course on the cost of running a truck, like where it actually goes in detail and breaking down every single expense. I mean, you have at least a couple of months. Educate yourself on load booking, educate yourself, take a freight broker course. You might want to take a course about accounts receivables. You're going to need to understand how to charge the customers, how to bill a freight broker, how to send an invoice with PODs. This is all stuff that doesn't just come naturally. You need to learn about it. You need to understand it. You know, one of the struggles that I had in the US was I couldn't find documents. I had the Canadian versions of everything, but I didn't have the US version. Every document that I used, I uploaded it to truckingacademy.us, and you can help this channel, whether you need a shipper carrier agreement, a dispatch service agreement, a parking form, whatever document that you need in our industry, you can find that on truckingacademy.us. And the reason I put that together was I myself was having an issue finding these documents. So I said, you know what? Why not just make everybody's life a lot easier, and you can get these documents by helping our channel. The biggest benefit that you're going to get is I do have a course on step-by-step guide on how to open a trucking company in the US. Okay, now you can use this both in Canada and in the US. The steps are pretty much the same both in Canada and the US, and I think that people will greatly benefit from that. There are more courses coming out, and stay tuned. Make sure you're following our channel, and I really hope this video helped some of you guys out there. Give it a thumbs up, share it, comment. Let me know what you liked, let me know what you didn't like. But you'd really help me by boosting the algorithm if you put a comment down below. I'm Ronan, and I'll catch you in my next video.